Hi, boys and girls. I have my absolute favorite story for you today. It's called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, as told by Scieszka, illustrated by Lane Smith, and it is told by the Big Bad Wolf. So, the story will tell you who I am. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll get you on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. It's not our fault we eat cute little animals like bunnies, sheep, and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Like I was saying, this whole big bad wolf thing's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back once upon a time again, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. And I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So, I walked down the street, asked my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? Who in their right mind would build their house out of straw? So the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just look into someone's house, so I called him. Little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It's been a shame to leave a perfectly good ham still lying there in the straw, so I ate him up. Think about it as a cheeseburger, just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next neighbor's house. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He built his whole house out of sticks. I rang the doorbell. Ding dong. Nobody answered. I called. Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back. Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving my hands off a tin. And I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed another great sneeze. And you're not gonna believe it, but the old guy's house fell down just like his brothers. The dust cleared and there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner. Again, think of it as a second helping at a buffet. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. But I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He built his whole house out of, can you guess, bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer, so I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And you know what that rude little Parker answered? He said, get out of here, Wolf! Don't bother me again! Talk about impolite. I probably had a whole sack sacks full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me 1 cup for my dear old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed another again. And you know what that little pig said. And your dear old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fella. But when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. And the cops drove up, and of course I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. And the rest, they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with the whole huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the whole story. I was framed. Maybe you could give me a cup of sugar. Thank you.